We'll leave because there's no point being on it.
I get the hang of that.
Hey, there she is.
Mhm. Great. I enjoy some numbers.
Not good.
So, subscribe. So, so, it's generation. It's called Power of the so service paper church. All the smiles that we bring to the children and families and the community. Everybody is to prepare. Ask and ask ourselves, why we do it. We must stay with the lives with our heart to help over time. Life demands can service, but not just a lie. Take a moment to reflect on the study is change. Leadership in action is love, seeds direct, and wondering about the tears of seeds planted, but of as you lie in the garden. Then bring us the message comes from a position titled The Experience comes from that kind of kind that sees potential when others see problems. Kind that knows one small act of kindness that will delivery. But as heard, this has nothing. Let's ask, who can I lift? Who can I fight? Who can I empower? Together with one every begin that that nothing beyond that continue to serve the integrity, that just not just for us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Milton. I just want to say one more thing. Mike comes up to I saw and say, everyone knows about uh, dog that, right? So we
Right. Good afternoon, everybody. We do have a number of today. We're very lucky to have them here. So when I call your name, please stand with your host so we can recognize you. Our guest today, we have uh, Darren Potter. He's here as a guest of Chris Reps. He's here with Canine uh, guest Scarlett. We also have Asia Young. and Michael Williams. They're also both guests of Chris Rouse. We have Linda Jensen, who is a guest of Andrea Brooks. Robert Borneff, who is a guest of Randy Myers. We have Derek Rubin, who's a guest of Milton Hardy, and Jason Harrison, also a guest of Milton Hardy. So thank you all for coming, and thank you to your hosts for inviting me.
Great day. I love saying that. Say it with me. It's a great day to be a Kiwanis. Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to go through some information. You should have received the agenda today from John Montgomery. In that email, there was a link that was identifying the Youth Protection Week that Kiwanis International celebrated last week. All right. So, I'd like you to also note that you're going to get a separate email from John on Thursday highlighting the same information. And I would encourage you to please check out the link, review the information, and let us know if you have any questions. You will also receive information next week. Some of the documents that are on the link will be on the table for you. So let me go through some information here. These policies also want procedures. It states that for all adults, any one is required to read, understand, agree, and abide by these policies. They talk about things such as criminal history background checks. It's important for a clear background check done and document. They're typically good for years. So they talk about chaperones, district administrators that are part of our service, as well as transportation. In the transportation note, they talk about the rule of three. These are documented from a parent regarding the transportation arrangement. Anybody that's under 18. So always think about the rule of three. Also, at the tobacco, marijuana, and other substances while attending a Kiwanis event that is produced primarily by or for the benefit of youth. So just think about that. Not even any tobacco. Okay. Reporting. If a Kiwanis observes troubling behavior involving a youth at a Kiwanis event or becomes aware of a situation that is illegal or potentially unsafe for a young person, they must immediately contact you as well as provide notification to law enforcement. Now, as all state federal laws must be also information will document sharing personal information of any youth attending a Kiwanis event, including registration forms, medical information, or permission to treat Kiwanis, etc., should be treated as very confidential. Almost done. Now, here's very easy to click. For any social networking site that involves requesting a connection, such as inviting someone to be your friend on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever site you're on, adults should never initiate such connections with the youth. If you wish to request such a connection from the Kiwanian should use their best judgment in responding. Adults should treat their interaction with youth on social networking sites as though the interaction were happening in public, in front of other adults and youth. Lastly, behavioral or health Kiwanians are often seen by a young person as adults to trust with personal and or sensitive information. Kiwanians, though, should refrain from consulting youth and should instead find or assist the young person in finding appropriate expert assistance. These are all common sense things, but we really want to make sure everybody is aware of the protocol. So, are there any questions? Okay, what about being any other comments I missed? Michael Brock. Well, that's a wonderful question. You would think he's responsible for the website or something. Some of the documents I will pass out next week are actually, there's 2 pages on the website under the member site. So it's website, member site. Yes, go ahead. Please, Justin. Thank you for that. Anybody else? I would further add to what Reef just said. When you look at the information under the procedures and protocols, you also see that there are numbers. For example, I might get this wrong, but you have to have one adult chaperone. It's not the exact number, but it's something like that. And I know Cape had teachers. We had a lot of K clubs. So we have to make sure that we're within the appropriate ratios of adults to youth. Okay. All right. I'm going to switch gears very quickly. And I wanted to talk a little bit about SLP. And I know for some of our guests, you may not know what SLP is. It's our service leadership programs, because we all are about service, right, Madam President? We are. We have 2 wonderful service animals. I actually learned today that Darren Potter's dog is a service and facility dog. So quite interesting. He helps to facilitate different work that you do. It's really pretty incredible. Oh, anyway. Yes, they are. They're both sleeping. So the quick comments here. Okay, and first, see Jeff. No, Jeff. I want to thank Jeff. Have some kudos when you guys see him. Jeff is in the process of initiating a Circle K club at Roanoke College. And I'm thrilled about that. So let's give him a little round of applause, even though he's not here. We're in station of sale to work collectively with them on that opportunity. Also, and this is really where we need some help. We have a station now at Hollins University. They're interested in exploring the possibility of a Circle K club, and she hasn't been able that work. She's also helping us with that conversation. So let's give her a round of applause, please. And lastly, Gene Mullenberg going at Virginia Western Community College. Thank you, Gene. Now I saw Gene.
He's over there. All right.
And so the help
For an individual Kiwanian to come forward, help us share the cake, to communicate with the people that have been identified at these different organizations to help them initiate a Circle K club. And there's a number of steps. Tell you, it isn't really super time intensive. It might be to kind of get things started, have a couple of meetings. It's really finding a student that wants to try this event. They need to, or this activity, they need to get at least 6 people to join their Circle K club to get started. So I'd really like would come forward today or tomorrow and identify themselves as willing to help. And then lastly, I think it's really important for me not to miss this. 2 people that are here today need to be commended. Michael Francis, as well as Leanne Reich. They have both agreed to be a second Kiwanian at 2. Really give that. All right. Thank you.
Do we have like 7 key clubs? 6 key clubs. So we're very active in the schools. So this is very important that we understand our role as a Kiwanian. Okay, announcements. Mike, would you like to come up about lobsters?
Right. Hello again, everybody. You'll see on your tables a sign-up sheet for lobsters. Oh. So you'll see the sign-up sheet on your table for lobsters, which are getting picked up and delivered on November 8th. So if you're interested, you can sign up, and there's now a place on the sheet for you can request them to be cooked or not cooked. They're $25 each. And we need the orders to be in and the money to be received by November 2nd in order for the orders to be processed and completed.
Lobsters. That's all I can see. We've had lots of conversation about lobsters. Also, this is not something we could put on your bill. We have to pay for the lobsters when we get them. So that's why we're asking to either write a check to the Kiwanis Club and give it to John or Mike or me, or bring $25 cash. Your choice per lobster. Did I not say that? Okay. Okay. This afternoon after the meeting, we have membership is meeting and the SLP committees are meeting 1:35 after the meeting today. Sherry, would you like to come up and tell us about it?
All right, Sherry Hartman here. We have so much going on Saturday. You've got lots of options of having a great day. The weather's supposed to be glorious. So I hope that you get out and enjoy. One of the options is a festival at Melrose Plaza. If you haven't been there, please do plan to join me. It is this stunning kind of renovations that happened at the old Goodwill building. It's now transformed into this elegant, amazing hub of services. And of course, we're a big part of that story. We were like one of the first to revive that part of town with our playground, and many of you helped to make our playground possible. We are now also then extending our work into that 2.5 acres next to the playground that was just kind of dead space and is being reincarnated as a nature park. And this weekend, we'll have a chance to be a part of the Fall Festival celebration of Northwest Roanoke. There'll be a whole, panoply of types of organizations there, and Kiwanis will have a table, and I sure could use your help at that table. I'm going to go and set up right at 10. I'll be there probably a little bit earlier. We're supposed to be ready by 10:30, and then we will have our exhibit available until 2 o'clock. So if you have time during that segment of the day on Saturday, please let me know. I could use your help on that day. There's other stuff going on that day we're probably going to hear about, maybe from Joyce. Andre, would you like to come up and tell us about the Fun Committee?
Thank you, Sherry, for that introduction, because this is the other thing that's going on that day. Fun. I've listened this morning, and when I read the newsletter too, I look at all the work that we do, and I am proud to be a member of this organization and to be part of that. But there's something else that we do too. We have fun, and we're going to have fun Saturday. In the afternoon, this is going to be at Explore Park. In the afternoon, you can come, hike, bike, walk, tour all the buildings. All of that is free. In fact, the whole evening is free except for what you eat and drink. So you can come anytime you want in the afternoon and do those activities. Then we'll gather at 5:30 in Brew Tavern for some drinks, the wino that I am. And 6 o'clock or so, we'll go upstairs to the private dining room for dinner. So we'll order our dinner, our drinks, pay for them ourselves, the only cost of this event. And then we'll be upstairs in the dining room. And then Brew Tavern does not provide dessert. I'm sorry. What's a meal without dessert? We're bringing dessert. We're going to have a s'more cake. Did I say that right? Who was correcting me earlier? Somebody, but anyway, thank you for that. But a s'more cake. So that will be our activity. If it's warm enough, there are gas fire pits outside, and we can go out there and have our dessert. If it's not warm enough, we'll just have it right there in the private dining room. But please sign up on the sheet on your table. Let us know you're coming. If you don't sign up, you can come anyway, but it would be really helpful for planning if you'd let us know. Looking forward to seeing you for fun.
And also on your table is a sign-up sheet for the West Insular Spooky Sprint fundraiser. We need a few more. It's next Saturday, and 7:45 at Wasina Park. It won't be, but we need a couple of your hours. That's all we need. About noon, will be totally over, and if the event you're working with is over before that, you can go sooner. We'd love for you to wear something Halloween-y t-shirt or something. If not, Kiwanis works well too. So on your table is a sign-up sheet, and please feel it in your heart to sign a sheet. Thank you. All right, do we have any braggers? Okay, we have a few minutes to do your brags, and I'm going to brag while they're bragging. I'm going to read on here where the last 2 weeks we had 14 braggers donating $172 to the foundation. That is fantastic. Thank you for that.
Hello, my name is Leanne Wright, and I put some little flyers on every table. I work for Children's Trust, which for those who do not know, it is focused on child abuse prevention, intervention, and advocacy. Next Friday here in Charter Hall, we're having kind of an award ceremony for some individuals in our community who have gone above and beyond the call to help protect children, intervene when abuse has happened, and to advocate for their best interests moving forward in their healing. I'd love it if you'd like to join me. There's a QR code. Lunch is provided. It's only $30, and it really goes to support to make sure all of our programs can reach enough children in our community. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, feel free to take this with you. Thank you.
Michael Proctor here. I'm here to brag on our son, William. He's a professor at Texas Lutheran University. And just this past week, he won an award from the leading political science professional organization in the world. He's doing something that I think is quite remarkable. He's constructed and runs at his university a civic engagement program where he prepares students to become civically engaged and informed citizens who actively are involved in making their local communities a better place. Couldn't we all use a bit of that? Thank you for the brag.
It's a great day to be a Kiwanian, isn't it? I'm here to brag about my wonderful son, Miles. We forgot to sign him in as a guest. So I wanted to identify Miles Rouse. Miles is 16 and very interested in medicine, specifically right now EMT activities. He is considering getting certified as an EMT and then maybe having that be his job. So we'll see how that works out. And also wanted to let you know that Miles is super talented. As part of our new business that we're running, Miles designed my business card, including our logo, and he also put some information for us on our LinkedIn site. And we're awfully proud of our son, Miles. My wife and I, Debbie, who you all have met before, just couldn't be prouder of his initiative and things that he gets accomplished at his age of just 16. I know when I was 16, I needed somebody standing over me with a ruler to tell me what to do, but he does not need that. So just again, let's hear it from Miles Rouse.
Steve McGraw with two brags. The first one is in regard to Abbott Trailways bus line, where my wife and I spent the last 2 weeks traveling. It goes on and on. They're an amazing organization right here, homegrown and been around for a number of generations. So we can't say enough about Abbott. And on that same trip, we met an interesting person. The last person to get on the bus was the guy about my age with a really odd-looking beetle haircut. And he sort of had an arthritic walk. And he got on the bus alone and wistful, and soon learned that his wife was ill and could not join him on that bus trip. And so my wife and I felt sorry for poor old Gary. And so we befriended Gary, and we did many things with him on this same trip. But I soon learned a few more things about poor old Gary. Poor old Gary owns a sand and gravel business in Galax, Virginia. And he also owns a 62-acre campground with 50-some rental plots on it. Gary also has a distinct talent for playing any kind of musical instrument. And he gave me a video of himself playing Floyd Kramer's Last Date, which sounded exactly like Floyd Kramer. And he's a vegetarian. And I said, Gary, nobody would ever know these things about you. He said, unless you take the time to ask me. And I said, that's right. And so never, J.C. Taylor, we've talked about this before, never judge a book by its cover. What an interesting person to meet on a trip. Thank you.
Thank you for those bright bucks. For our guest, we allow for $2 for you to come up and brag about something personal or somebody, and then that money goes to our foundation. So through the year, it adds up. So it's a good way to raise a little money for the foundation. So thank you for doing that. Today we raised $13. So we're moving up. Now I'd like to call James Matthews up to introduce our program today.
So I guess I don't need to tell you again, I'm James Matthews. I'm introducing the speakers this month. Before I introduce today's speaker, I want to send a shout out to David and Sherry Hartman. I coordinated these speakers. I certainly didn't find them. They provided me with a list of people to talk to. I'm not sure that finding the speakers is part of my skill set, but I can sure sit there in the background and do all the clerical stuff. So enough of that, other than, again, thank you guys for what you did quietly to make me stand up here and shine. Today, I would like to introduce our speaker, Juanita Prada, and her mom, Maria Marino. Juanita is the founder of Behold, Be Gold, which is an organization that does advocacy for childhood cancer survivors and late effects of surviving childhood cancer. Juanita and her mom are native to Colombia, but have been in Roanoke since for 25 years. Juanita came up through the Roanoke County school system and is a graduate of Virginia Tech and is now an interpreter at Bradley Free Clinic. So welcome our speaker today, and I look forward to hearing her story, as I'm sure you do as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hartmans. Thank you so much, Joyce and James. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My name is Juanita Prada. I am very thankful for each one of you for the service that you do in our beautiful Roanoke community in Southwest Virginia and everywhere your soul takes you. I'm very happy to be here. So I'm going to share my story. I'm kind of going to go briefly, but here we go. All right. I started this platform called Growth, and you're going to be able to join this journey with me. So, life before cancer, 10 years old, first week of 5th grade. Before cancer, everything was just like a school-age child, running, laughing, throwing really dumb temper tantrums. Halloweens, lots of fun and everything that a child really gets to do, which is live, laugh, and love and not care about anything. First week of 5th grade, I all of a sudden started feeling, probably a few days before, but I started seeing bruises all over my body. I started feeling very, very, very fatigued. I started feeling high headache, headache that led me straight to the emergency room, headache of temperature of 111. And that was straight to getting lots of blood work done. All of a sudden, Speedy took me to the hospital, my parents, and then set me in a room where there I was told that, Juanita, honey, you have what's called leukemia. What is leukemia? What is leukemia for a 10-year-old? Leukemia is a type of blood cancer that affects the white blood cells, and those white blood cells help with fighting infection. So that was my understanding, but at the same time, I knew that leukemia what they said was cancer. Cancer. My mom said, Juanita, you're going. In my mind, the cancer was, Juanita, you're going to die, and you won't get to see your friends again, and your hair is gonna be all gone. So those were my main worries. I remember my hair being gone and not being able to go back to school. Not that I was going to die or anything, just really my friends, my hair, my friends, my hair. So the worries began. Next. So from that immediate diagnosis, quickly, Juanita's parents goes home, get the bag, just bring something for Juanita to wear. Juanita's going to be admitted into the hospital. She won't get to go home. Juanita's getting a portacath surgery. When Juanita was getting the portacath surgery, things went wrong. I had what is called cellulitis, an infection in the portacath, led me to a state of coma for a month. Calling my parents, my mom, calling my mom, my dad calling my mom saying, Maria, you need to come. The doctors say Juanita is not going to live. You can come and say goodbye. God is great. God is great, and I'm here speaking to you today. Thank you. I woke up in that state of coma with a stroke, paralyzed head to toe, not able to speak, eat, walk, talk. My first language is Spanish, did not know Spanish. My second language is English, did not know English. My body was now of a 4-year-old instead of a 10-year-old. Juanita had to live a year straight in the hospital. That was my life, recuperating, rehabilitating, all types of therapies, physical, occupational, visual, hearing, everything that you can imagine, to be able to get back into activities of daily living. That was my life for 2 years and a half, not going to school. So to make Juanita happy, friends would come home and just be at my house for a little bit. Infections were very bad, so I couldn't really see much people. The stroke left me pretty bad, so I had to do a lot of face, eye patch, face work, to get back my face how it was before. Struggle after struggle, and then, next page, please, next slide, thank you. Juanita finished treatment after 2 years and a half. Then 6 months later, I relapsed. I relapsed with a central nervous system of acute lymphoblastic leukemia, affecting now the brain, but also my vision, meaning I had to have radiation in the brain many times, affecting more what I now call the late effects of childhood cancer. This treatment lasted another 2 years and a half. So in total, 5 years in the hospital, in and out, in and out. And what did I miss? But what did I also try to go to? Well, I've tried to go back to school. I remember being very miserable because of the steroids, because now I'm a teen, I'm getting into my teen years, and now I look horrible. I have these scars. I have this face that's like a monster. I have low on energy. I can't do much stuff like everybody else. Just many things, but at the same time, I looked at it with optimism and saying, this is, I'm here, I'm alive, let's make the best out of it. And trying to do many things, but taking into consideration, I am not the same Juanita I was when I was a child. My brain is slower. I had chemo brain, really bad chemo brain at the age of 10, at the age of 11, and at the age of 12, at the age of now 32. There's many things that later on prohibited me from learning like other of my peers. Next, please. I eventually survived. I got into a state of remission, and later on years, I still go into my pediatric hematology oncology clinic at Curling Clinic. I was treated at Curling Clinic all these years. I still go to Curling Clinic for follow-up appointments. And all this, I mean, these it was not easy, everything that happened. As we know, cancer is devastating for everybody, and everybody undergoes different types of situations in life. Next, please. With all of the cognitive stuff that happened to my brain, with all the setbacks, I was able to graduate. I was able to graduate from high school, and that's where Behold Behold comes in. That's that Behold Behold moment. I was able to graduate from community college. I was able to graduate from Virginia Tech. And I was able to say, behold, be gold. When teachers told my parents that it was not possible for me to go to Virginia Tech, to go to Virginia Western, to graduate from high school, my parents and I said, she will be able to. She will be able to. Next, please. When Mira then kept going with life, I said, I want to be in a clinical setting because I feel that's my calling. I went to Children's National. I did a practicum for Child Life. Child Life specialists are teachers in the hospital who help a lot with the play and interventions for children while they're undergoing hospital stays. So I did 8 years, around 7.5 years of volunteer work. And then I became a Child Life assistant, which helped me gain a lot of practice within the medical field as far as working with children, hospitalized children. And later on, saw that working was very difficult due to my late effects in many aspects. And so I had to tell myself, Anita, try to focus on your health. You're still young, but you need to focus on your health. So I did. And then I decided to later on use something that's very easy for me in my head and not have to think too much in Spanish. So then I went to interpret at the Broadway Free Clinic where I live, and I met the most awesome guy, Dr. Rutherford, part of the Kiwanis Club, part of an individual who told me about a pancake event there, and I said, Hartman's, please, I would love to speak here and share my story. So I kept going. The news got out about all of these amazing milestones. My story was in the Washington Post, in the U.S. News Today, and in many other newspapers around the world. And that's where I felt empowered. Next, please. So we're now going on to understand the late effects. Before, rewind real quick to Virginia Tech. I kind of ended Virginia Tech and Washington, D.C. with seizures that arose that were happening out of the nowhere, which I was thinking, but they were part of also the treatment late effects. So I started going a lot to neurology appointments here in Roanoke. They said, sorry, we don't know your case. You were a kid. We don't know what to do with you. So that's always hard trying to explain yourself and explain yourself that this happened because of the treatment. Because of the treatment, there was a lot of dental late effects. So I had to go back to my home country where it's cheaper in Colombia to do 3 years of different types of things as far as for teeth. My vision, I lost some of my vision, but I wear glasses and contacts today. So those were just kind of the ones that really affected me, but mainly the brain. Next, please. So understanding late effects, basically late effects are problems that are related to cancer treatment that persist or occur after treatment is completed. So for children, we got to think about that these are children, right? These are infants, these are children, these are kids or teens, and their bodies are not yet developed. So it hits harder on them, and the treatment kids are getting are adult treatments, which is either why children are unfortunately passing away, or which as children are surviving are left with a lot of late effects coming later in life. Next, please. Understanding more about late effects, cancer in children and young adults is different the later in life. It causes, I said, more harm to children. So we got to think about every single part of our bodies. So we have to think of the physical late effects, but also the ones that are not visible, right? So I advocate a lot for the psychosocial late effects as well. A lot of children and teens are left with social, emotional, um, different types of help that they need later in life. Next, please. These are just some stats. I do a lot of advocacy work in Virginia, and for Virginia, we work a lot with the children in Virginia. 359 children in Virginia. More than them are left with cognitive and just other related issues that have children basically struggle later in life in education. Next, please. Survivor from advocate to founding Behobi Gold. The day that I got told that I was diagnosed with epilepsy was the day that I got diagnosed with childhood cancer, meaning it hit so hard when, as an adult, now they said, Juanita, you can't drive, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, how am I going to be able to keep going on with my life if I can't drive, especially here in Roanoke? So everything was a depressing mode for me. Medications that I took would again make my hair fall, going back to trauma from when my hair fell. There were many bad emotions within me. But then one day I got up and I said, behold, behold, meaning like this is enough. Behold, watch out, because this girl is not going to stop. Next, please. Behold. So our mission at Behobi Gold is dedicated to empowering and supporting childhood cancer survivors after they face the late effects of cancer treatment. What does that mean? That means going to educate our community, like I am here today educating you, going to do policy work, going to do peer support, going to do resources for all the people that need to learn more about late effects, doing a lot of research, doing a lot of campaigns. So I got in my head that vision of, Juanita, you're going to go, just like I'm here, I heard from the beginning here, inspiring others to go out and make some change happen. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So I started with education, research, awareness initiatives. So I started going and speaking, educating others, educating teachers, educating everybody really that needs to be educated, even healthcare providers. Next slide, please. I went to Capitol Hill. Every year I go to Capitol Hill. Every year I try to go and just speak out to all these people who are putting bills and laws that really, how can we help this specific community, our childhood cancer community, our survivors, right? How are parents going to have access to care? How are kids going to have access to care? We have to keep in mind that these families can get diagnosed here and then they have to travel a few hours away. Next slide, please. Health and wellness. We provide a portal where people can go reach out to, really advocating and telling people on social media, hey, have you gotten your late effects appointment? Really just helping survivors kind of be independent and teaching advocates how to advocate for themselves. So providing a platform where they can see where all these resources are at so they can help others. Next, please. More resources of survivorship. I've been involved, Behobi Gold has been involved in many beta user-friendly apps and websites where we have been able to go on there and make the system better for everybody to learn about late effects and how to educate for parents, doctors, nurses, etc., everybody, survivors themselves. Next, please. You're good. Behobi Gold has been able to go for already 6 years to many settings and just provide events, survivorship support, donations for survivors, going to the hospitals, donating for hospitals, really just empowering these survivors, letting them know that despite your late effects, you are going to conquer the world. Next, please. Community partnerships. We've been involved in many community partnerships, going on the news, going on the radio station. I'm an ambassador of the LiveRing Foundation, which is a foundation helping to support the new cancer center being built. I do a lot of advocacy and awareness work with them. I do a lot of advocacy and awareness work with Lishy's Gift, which is, I'm a board member of Lishy's Gift. It speaks about young adult cancer. And just many other organizations where I've partnered up with and been able to be a voice. Next, please. global outreach. We've done 9 countries already where we've been able to speak about Behold Be Gold, and really, you know, a lot of countries are more behind than the U.S. and various stuff. But on other stuff, they might be advanced as well. So we learn from each other, and thankfully, you know, I do speak Spanish, so that helps with breaking those bridges. Next slide, please. These are just individuals that are really thankful that this platform exists, and they go through many late effects, but are scared to speak up about it at school, at work, in day-to-day life. And they're just been writing to the Behold Be Gold platform saying, thank you, we need a voice. So when I hear that a mom, a patient, a father, or somebody's telling me that they're grateful for this, I know that Behold Be Gold is doing the work that needs to be done. Next, please. These are survivors that we have interviewed on YouTube and other places that have their late effect story, and they're there for you to, if one day you would like to check out. They tell their life before and after cancer. Next, please. Next, please. How can you help? Well, really, just you're here. You're listening. That's the main thing. I really appreciate you guys being here. And, you know, we just now, that picture of that certification is, we just became established, incorporated. We are now, after 6 years, we're going to be transitioning to a nonprofit status. So we are very proud. This was just last week that this happened. And throughout the 6 years, all this work has definitely been meaningful, inspiring, and motivational. So thank you for listening and taking your time. Do we have any questions? If we have time? No? Okay, not cool. Thank you. Oh, they're all standing up. Thank you, everybody. And I have a warrior family here.
Yes, I said the last 2 meetings have mirrored my life. I too had a child with cancer, except mine didn't make it. But going through the journey that you go through, you come out knowing that there had to be a reason, there had to be a cause. And so you either come out of that journey knowing, I never want to see it or hear it again, or I want to do something with it. And this is what she has done. It has forwarded her into a life that she would have never dreamed would have been her life. But she is serving others. And that's what happened to me. Hopefully that's not next week's speaker of my story, but I want you to know this is a journey that you can't believe until you've walked or been in those shoes. So hooray for you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Wait a minute. All right. Whoops, I'll turn this around.
Her honorum goes to Behold Be Gold. So, move over. Oh.
Here. Did the cha-cha slide?
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Here you go.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Next week, we have Wesley Bell, Impact Living Services, and James Matthews will be our introducer. So thank you for coming. Enjoy this wonderful day, and we are adjourned.